Batting second, the left fielder, number 6, Alabama Groves.
It's a cloudy
Batting third,
degree
the third
night here
baseman, number
in
7,
Union Mills,
Delaney
Indiana,
Nair.
where we have a matchup between the South Central
Batting
Satellites
fourth, the
against the
second
Bremen
baseman, number
Lions.
10,
I am
Casey
Hansel Chu, your host,
Grabowski.
with Josh Regan in the studio today here on Reagan's Corner Sports
Batting
Network,
fifth,
where
the
all
right fielder,
athletes
number
come
13,
first.
Avery
For
Ruiz.
South Central, they lost in their last game against Morgan Township 12-2 Friday
Batting sixth,
afternoon.
the
And in
pitcher,
that game,
number
South
3,
Central let up
Peyton
6 runs
Mason.
in the third inning to fall behind 8-1. And in that game,
Batting
junior
seventh, the
Tennelly
catcher, number
Warner went 1 for
17,
2 at
Yahaira
base, had
Jimenez.
the only RBI of the game, and that was a double into center
Batting
field.
eighth, the designated
Sophomore
hitter,
Val
number
Horn also went
14,
perfect at the
Mackenzie
base today,
Shoemaker.
going 2 for 2 at base.
Batting ninth, the
However,
center
sophomore
fielder, number
Lexi
9,
Johnson had a
Katie
great start
Moyer.
to the game. However, wasn't able
And the
to
flex player,
replicate her
first
success
baseman, number
earlier on
8,
the
Aaron
season, as in
Quinn.
that game against Morgan Township. In 5 innings pitched,
Assisted
allowed
by
8
John
earned runs,
Hitchcock,
had
Daily
6 strikeouts,
Timberland,
4 base
Selected
on
head
balls,
coach,
and allowed
otherwise,
11
Mike
hits in
Pepper.
the blowout loss to Morgan Township. For Bremen, they
Full record of
lost
2
their
wins,
last
2
game as
losses.
well,
That's
or
it for
excuse me, they
Satellite
defeated
Field,
Northwood
South
5-4 on the
Central
go-ahead run in the
Satellites.
bottom of the 7th inning to ultimately give them the win.
Leading off the
However, they came into
shortstop,
that game
number
losing
2,
their last 2
Val
games
Horn.
before breaking their losing streak against
Batting
Northwood
second, the
yesterday as
pitcher, number
well.
20,
For both of these
Lexi
teams coming in
Johnson.
at a mediocre record, South
Batting
Central
third,
coming
the
in with
first
a
baseman, number
3-2
10,
record. For
Henley
Bremen, they're coming in at a
Warner.
2-4 record,
Batting fourth,
looking
the
to
catcher, number 1,
get a win
Kendall
for South Central,
Rosenbaum.
coming back from their loss, and for
Batting
Bremen,
fifth,
looking to
the
get a
center
2-game
fielder,
win
number
streak on
27,
their hands.
Avery Conboy.
For
Batting
South Central
sixth,
today,
the
Lexi
right
Johnson back
fielder, number
on the mound.
7, Brooke
2-2
Valera.
is her record on the year, has a
Batting seventh,
2.69
the
ERA,
second
and
baseman,
has been
number
very, very
28,
good
Emily
on the mound.
Castle.
35 strikeouts on the year,
Batting
9 base
eighth,
on balls,
the
has
third
allowed
baseman, number
36 hits
13,
in
Taylor
26
Bachman.
innings played as well.
Batting ninth, the designated player, number 11,
South Central
Vanessa
today at home
Baruch.
taking on Bremen. South Central wearing
And the
their
flex
red
player, the
and
left
white
fielder, number
uniform,
14, Taylor
and Bremen,
Booth.
they're wearing their black and green
Assisted
uniforms
by
today.
David Johnson, Gary Biggs, and Darrell Walsh, and head coach of the Satellites is
As the
Tony
starting lineups
Wallace.
are introduced right now,
At this
and let's go
time, to
get it
honor
over
our
for South
country
Central.
and our
Right now,
flag, we'll have
here's the lineup
recited
for
our
South Central.
national
They're leaded
anthem.
off with Val Horn, the shortstop, then followed by Lexi Johnson, who's starting as the pitcher, as well as Tennelly Warner at first base. Then they'll round it out with Kendall Rosebaum at the catcher position, with Avery Conboy at center field, Brooke Piera at right field, Emily Castle at second base, Taylor Bachman at third base, and Vanessa DeWitt as the designated hitter, and Taylor Cleek playing both left field and the flex position for South Central. For Bremen, they'll lead it off with Michaela Shively at the shortstop position, rounded out by Eliana Grubbs at the left field and Delaney Neher at third base. Then they'll round out their lineup with Chrissy Grabowski at second base, Avery Wilder at right field, Peyton Mason at the starting pitcher position for Bremen, along with Yajira Jimenez at the catching position, Mackenzie Shoemaker at the designated hitter, then Katie Moyer at center field, along with Ellie King at the first base flex position. National anthem just played, as we're soon ready for the first pitch between South Central Satellites against the Bremen Lions. For Bremen, their starting pitcher is going to be Peyton Mason. 0-0 is her record on the year, has a 14.7 ERA, 5 strikeouts, 5 base on balls, 6 hits, and 3.1 innings played so far on the year. South Central will pitch it off first to Bremen. Again, Lexi Johnson back on the mound, trying to redeem herself for her last game against Morgan Township. Again, had a game to forget for Lexi Johnson. Again, 5 innings played, 8 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 4 base on balls, and 11 hits for Lexi Johnson. And for South Central, hitting and base running is going to be a big factor if they're going to be able to win this game against Bremen. Again, only had 2 runs in their previous game. But in the wins that they did have, they pretty much scored in double-digit runs again. On Wednesday, they defeated Laville by a huge margin, 12 runs to 0, a shutout win for South Central. And in their opening game win against Glenn, they had an 11-4 win. So if they're able to get a lot of runs in, that's really going to be a big factor for South Central if they're able to win this game. And they're led off by Tenley Warner, who is having a career season so far. 368 batting average, has 7 hits on the year, 4 runs, and a team leading 10 RBIs on the year, which includes 2 home runs as well. So she's going to be a big factor for the South Central team. Again, leading off third in this batting order for the Satellites. For Bremen, they are led by Delaney Neher, who is playing at the third baseman. And again, she's having a great year as well. 500 batting average on the year, 7 hits, 4 runs, and 8 RBIs, including 2 home runs as well. Has an OPS of 1.429. So for Bremen, they got their hands full with South Central. South Central also has their hands full with 2 really great hitters, both teeing off today in this great matchup. As we're set to have the first pitch.
Welcome to another edition of Satellite Softball with a local broadcast. Shiley with first swing in the miss with a 1 strike.
Second pitch for Johnson is down inside, so that's going to be called a ball. Count's going to be 1-1. Third pitch is inside, straight down the middle, calling for a strike. So the count's going to be 1-2. Again, Johnson looking to redeem herself after having an abysmal performance yesterday. Third pitch is up high, in for a ball. Count up 2-2. 2-2 the count for Shively, and that one is hit. Up, popped up, and going back and far and gone. Leadoff home run for Bremen, and that's the second home run of the year for Michaela Shively. Puts him up 1-0. What a start for Bremen. Opening leadoff home run, and just like that, a 1-0 lead for the Lions against the Satellites. And I'll bring up Ileana Grubbs, the left fielder, who has a 500 batting average on the year, 5 hits, 3 runs, and 3 RBIs. First pitch down inside a fastball, called for a strike. Second one down in the middle, in for another strike, so back-to-back strikes. 0-2 the count for Grubbs. Here's the pitch down inside, goes away from the catcher, and that's going to be a ball. Here's a pitch up high, in for ball number 2. So that raises the count 2-2. 35 strikeouts on the year for Lexi Johnson. Here's the pitch, that one is hit, grounded out to the shortstop, up to the first baseman, and that's out number 1. And I'll bring up Delaney Neher. And again, a team leading 8 RBIs on the year, team leading 7 hits on the year, as well as 2 home runs. First pitch from Johnson is down the middle, in for a strike. Again, for Neher, 500 batting average on the year, 7 hits, and 14 at base. Second pitch is up high, away, in for a ball. Neher has an OBP of 500 on the year, has a slugging percentage of 928, and an OPS of 1.429. Here's the pitch. That one's up high in for ball number 2. Two one the count. Here's a pitch from Johnson. That one is hit. Goes away from the shortstop. And what a play right there. He dives for the ball and gets it to the first baseman. So that's out number 2 for the Satellites. So after giving up the home run on the opening hit, Johnson is able to get out 2 ground outs for out number 2. And that will bring up Chrissy Grabowski for Bremen, the second baseman. A sophomore averaging a 2.31 batting average on the year. First pitch down the middle in for strike number 1. Two RBIs on the year for Grabowski, along with 3 hits and 2 runs. Second pitch is up high, just off the frame for ball number 1. 1-1 the count. That one is hit up fouled for Grabowski. Raises the count to 1-2. 1-2 the count, looking to retire this inning. That one is popped up in the air, back deep, and couldn't get it down. So that one lands in fair. They throw it to second base, and she slides and called safe. So a double for Grabowski, as that one is fly toward the wall and lands in for a double. I'll bring up Avery Wilder up to the plate with Grabowski in scoring position. The junior right fielder averaging 231 batting average, 3 runs on the year, and 2 RBIs. A windy afternoon here in Union Mills, Indiana. First pitch from Johnson. That one is hit and grounded out up to the shortstop, up to the first base, and an easy play right there to retire the inning. A home run from Shively puts the Lions up 1-0 as South Central looking to take the first base at the bottom of the first. Werner Farms, leading farm in Clinton Township. Email them for more information at trishawerner16@gmail.com or adamwerner16@gmail.com. Again, Werner Farms growing a lot of production, hoping to get more production on this baseball field is Werner Farms. As we're set to check back in the bottom of the first, a leadoff hit for Bremen with Michaela Shively with the home run. And for the Satellites looking to get their revenge, looking to get a run in the bottom of the first. Leading off is Val Horn, the shortstop, who has a 4.12 batting average. Teaming up against Peyton Mason. First one is grounded out, up, and an error right there. Couldn't handle the ball securely, and that lands in for a base hit for Horn.
Second pitcher, number
The third
20,
baseman,
Lexi Johnson.
the third baseman for Bremen, that is Delaney Neher, wasn't able to secure the baseball cleanly, or excuse me, the softball cleanly, and that lands in for a base hit for Horn. That'll bring him Lexi Johnson, the pitcher. First one in for a strike. Lexi Johnson has a 4.71 batting average on the year. Second pitch is hit up and gets away. Oh, what a play from the shortstop. Able to get that. And a back-to-back, gets out on Johnson as Horn races over to second. So Horn would advance, but in exchange for an out for Johnson, that'll get the first out of the inning. That will bring up Tenley Warner, the first baseman, who has a 3.68 batting average on the year, 7 hits, and again, a team-leading 10 RBIs on the year, along with 2 home runs. First pitch is down and grounded out, and goes right through the middle, lands in for a base hit, and that moves up home, and it's out. Horn trying to dive into the base at home and gets tagged out from the catcher. So 2 outs already for the Satellites. Warner advances to second, but just like that, 2 outs already for the Satellites. Horn tried to get greedy, tried to get home plate, and wasn't able to. The pitch to Jimenez was in time and got for an out. The coach for the Satellites not happy with that call, looking at the umpire, trying to reason with them, trying to get a discussion going, trying to reverse the call. But as of right now, the call stands as an out on home base on Horn. So that will bring up Kendall Rosebaum, the catcher for the Satellites. The junior averaging a 2.86 batting average, 4 hits, and 2 runs on the year. First pitch got inside, but didn't get to the players, so Rosebaum will still stay on base right now. One on the count for Mason. Here's the pitch. That one is swinging and a miss. Strike number 1 for Rosebaum. That'll bring the count to 1-1. The pitch is inside down low for ball number 2.
You got this, Kendall.
Again, Rosebaum, 4 hits on the year and 14 base appearances. Doing the count, that one is grounded in and gets to the shortstop and couldn't get the ball cleanly. That would advance runners. So Warner will advance to third, and Rosebaum up to first base. So runners in both corners of the field. I'll bring in the center fielder, Avery Conboy, looking to bring in a run for the Satellites. The senior averaging a 3.33 batting average, 4 hits on the year, 4 RBIs, and a run. So third on the team in RBIs scored on the year. Again, looking to bring in Warner home to tie up this ball game. The pitch, swing and a miss, and advancing to second is Rosebaum. So stolen base right there, brings both scorers in. Bringing both runners in scoring position. That one is pitched outside in for ball number 1. Peyton Mason again, 14.7 ERA on the year in 3.1 innings pitched. Swing and a miss once again. That'll bring up the count 1-2 for Conboy. Mason looking to retire this inning But right now with the predicament at a second and third base runners. Here's the pitch outside, and that one's in for a ball, 2-2 the count.
My mom is put on there. Born in 1945, don't agree with that call.
2-2 the count. The pitch is popped up, and that one is fouled out. So Convoy back to the base once again. The count's still 2-2. Warner at third, Rosebaum at second. Convoy looking to bring them all home. Here's the pitch. That one is popped up. And can they make the play? They can. So there's the out. Mason had a predicament, had runners at second and third, but able to get no score still. The score is still 1-0 as we approach the top of the second. Here at Reagan's Corner Sports Network, we don't own rights to the music during this broadcast. So any music you hear, we do not have the rights to any of these music. Jody Gaja, the real estate and design. If you're looking to get a real estate, or if you're looking to revamp your home, trying to make some improvements, some modifications, Jody Gaja is a perfect candidate to choose if you're looking to revamp your home, make it look modern, and vamp up your home. If you're trying to have guests over, trying to have a great time, Jody Gaja is a great person to look to if trying to get a new refurbished home. All-Star Autos, which is all satellite athletes' good luck throughout the season, the #1 used car dealership in LaPorte County, the proud sponsor of Reagan's Corner Sports Network. As we're back for the top of the second, and for Bremen Peyton Mason up at the base, the junior yet to get a hit in this season, as the pitch is up high for ball #1. A windy afternoon here at Union Mills, Indiana. The pitch is hit and ground to the shortstop up to first base and got it in time for out #1. Ground out for Mason will bring up Jimenez at the plate.
Seventh catcher, number 17. Yeah, you got Jimenez.
The first pitch is outside for ball #1 for Johnson. Here's a pitch from Johnson. That one is hit and fouled out for Jimenez. The pitch from Johnson. That one is popped up and fouled. So count is 1-2. Again, Johnson allowed 1 home run in the top of the first. And the pitch is in for ball #2. 2-2 the count. That one is up high for a full count, 3-2. Here's the pitch, full count. That one is hit and got away and foul. So that will bring Jimenez back home. The Satellites got lucky right there. That one got away from the first baseman. If it was fair, it could have been extra bases for Jimenez. Full count. Here's the pitch. That one is in and strike number one. So strikeout number one for Johnson. That'll bring up Mackenzie Shoemaker up on the plate. Shoemaker, the designated hitter, averaging a 1.67 ERA. 2 hits on the year along with 1 run and 3 RBIs. Johnson's pitch is in for strike number one. That one is hit and fouled, so that'll bring the count up to 0-2. A better inning for Johnson. 2 outs already, looking to go 1-2-3 in this inning. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch from Johnson. That one is outside, in for ball number one. One to the count, the ball is hit foul, so that'll bring Shoemaker back onto the plate. Shoemaker has an OBP of 231 and an OPS of 398. Again, tied with 4th and 5th on the team on RBI scored, and that one is strike number 2. So back-to-back strikeouts retires the inning, and 1-2-3 inning for Johnson will bring up the Satellites on the bottom of the second. As we're set to check in the bottom of the second, leading off is Brooke Piera, and that pitch from Mason is down low to the right for ball number one. Brooke Piera, the right fielder, averaging a 4.44 batting average on the year, as the pitch from Mason is in to the right for strike number one. In 9 plate appearances, has 4 hits, along with 1 RBI and 1 run on the year. Mason's pitch is out up high for ball number 2, brings up the count to 2-1. Pereira's hit is hit up high for a foul, so that'll bring the count up 2-2. For Mason, already 3 hits on the game allowed, but still yet to allow a score. So excuse us for the technical difficulties as we're here at the bottom of the second, or excuse me, the top of the third, excuse me. As Johnson's pitch is up high for a strike. So no score still from the satellites, I'm assuming. As a pitch from Johnson is up for strike number 2. That one, a swing and a miss. So another strikeout for Johnson. Puts her up to 3 on the night. So that'll bring up Michaela Shively up to the plate once again, where she has a home run on this game. That one is popped into the air and caught. So what a play. The outfielders, the center fielder and the left fielder, both coming in together to make that play for out number 2. And that'll bring in Ileana Grubbs to the plate. A ground out in her first outing. That one is popped up and flown to the air and glancing for a base hit. So they'll bring in Delaney Neher, who had a ground out in her first appearance on the plate. Here's a pitch from Johnson up high for ball number 1. Pitch is up and caught, and that's going to end the inning. No runs allowed from Johnson still again. Has another strikeout, and that'll bring us to the bottom of the third. 1-0 still the score.
No satellite errors, 1 run left on base. And the 2.5 innings, Green 1, satellite 0.
So leading off for the Satellites in the bottom of the third is Vanessa DeWitt. Has a 100 batting average on the year on 10 base appearances. Here's a pitch and up high for Mason for ball number 1. Again, no runs allowed still for Mason. As the second pitch is popped up by DeWitt, up to the center fielder and in for a flyout and out number 1. And that will bring up Taylor Cleek up to the up to the plate. He has yet to record a hit, but has an RBI on the year, facing off against Mason for the first time. First pitch is down inside for ball number 1. For Cleek has a run in this season, as the second one is down low but inside the frame for strike number 1. Mason has yet to record a strikeout in this game, but again has yet to allow a run as well. Third pitch is up high for ball number 2, brings the count to 2-1. Pitch and hit for a horn. That one is flown out and lands against the wall. No stop Horn at first base, but again, second hit on the afternoon for Val Horn. That'll bring in Lexi Johnson up onto the plate. And for Lexi Johnson, a ground out in her first appearance. That one is ground up and foul. So that will bring Horn back up to first and Johnson back up to hit again. Again, a .471 batting average on the year for Johnson. 8 hits, 7 runs, and 5 RBIs. Second pitch is down inside ball number 1. Won the count. That one is hit and grounded inside. Got away from the shortstop, and that'll bring runners at second and first. First hit on the afternoon for Lexi Johnson, and that'll bring in Tenley Warner, who has a double in this ballgame. Still one out, trying to bring runners home. You have Horn on first, Horn on second, Johnson on first. Hit from Mason down inside for ball number 1. Again, 7 hits on the year, 4 runs in, and 10 RBIs, including 2 home runs for Warner. That pitch and hit down in for a base hit, and that will bring runners in everywhere. Johnson tried to advance for third. Warner tried to advance to second, but they're all stopped, and that'll bring the bases loaded. And Rosebaum up to the plate, trying to bring everyone home. 2 RBIs on the year for Rosebaum. 4 hits and 2 runs in 14 base appearances. Again, still 1 out. Bases loaded for Mason.
1.
The pitch from Mason is down inside and sinks in for ball number 1. In great scoring position is the Satellites, looking to tie this ball game up, down 1-0 at the bottom of the third. Second pitch from Mason sinks inside for ball number 2. Mason has walked only 5 players. Here's the pitch. That one is hit and fouled, so that will be out number 1. Or excuse me, strike number 1 for Rosebaum. Two, 1 the count. Rosebaum, that one gets away from defenders, and that would bring in a score. 2 runners going home. That is Horn and Johnson. And just like that, the Satellites take a lead, an RBI double for Rosebaum.
Center fielder Avery Conboy.
So Conboy up on the plate gets strike number 1. What a hit right there from Warner. Just able to get that ball through the middle of the defense and brings in 2 scores with Horn and Johnson. So RBI double for Warner, and the hit for Conboy is popped up into the air and caught with the shortstop, and that'll settle in for out number 2. So Warner is at second right now, Rosebaum at first, and the second out of the night will bring in Pereira. Pereira was caught out on her first base appearance, gets taken in for strike number 1. The sophomore right fielder has a .444 batting average with 4 hits in 9 base appearances. Second pitch is up high for ball number 1. One the count. That one is synced inside out to the right, and that's called for strike number 2. Just got it inside the frame. And Mason looking to get her first strikeout of the afternoon. That one got it right there. Got Pereira to swing, and strikeout number 1 ends the inning. An RBI double for Rosebaum gives the Satellites the lead 2-1 as we go to the 4th.
Takes care of Satellites in the 3rd, but they scored 2 runs on 4 hits. No wide players and 2 Satellites left on base.
Here in the top of the 4th, the Satellites were able to get 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, and gives them a 2-1 lead. As Johnson back on the mound, looking to retire this inning once again, and that pitch is down the middle in for strike number 1. Taking on Chrissy Grabowski, who had a double in her first base appearance. Second one is popped into the air for a foul, brings up the count 0-2. To the count, that one's up the middle, and that one just away over the top. And that's ball number 1 for Johnson. Besides the opening tee-off home run allowed by Johnson, she's been nothing short of spectacular, as that one is down slid below for ball number 2. 3 strikeouts on the afternoon for Johnson, as that one is out inside for a full count 3-2. 2 straight strikes led to 3 straight balls, and here's the full count for Lexi Johnson. Again, a double for Grabowski in her first appearance against Johnson. Here's the pitch. That one is hit and couldn't get it. That one goes away from the first baseman, and that lands in for a base hit. The first baseman, Warner, had the ball in her glove, but just wasn't able to corral it and jump high enough. That one gets away an error for Warner and allows Grabowski to get first base. That'll bring in Avery Wilder, who grounded out in her first appearance against Johnson. That one is bunted in, and that rolls into the first baseman. So what a play right there from the pitcher, Johnson. Able to fastball it over to Warner for strike number 1. Excuse me, for out number 1, but that would advance Grabowski all the way to second. That'll bring in the pitcher, Peyton Mason, who also grounded out in her first appearance. First pitch from Johnson, in down low for a strike. One out so far in the top of the 4th. Mason trying to bring in Grabowski home at second. Ball is popped up and foul for Mason. Brings the count up 1-1. One the count. That one is up high for ball number 2. A windy afternoon here in Union Mills, Indiana. Could affect some of these balls as if they're popped up into the air. It could flow another way. It could affect how the ball is going to go for a home run. And that ball is out inside for ball number 3. Mason grounded out in her first appearance, has again yet to land a hit in the season. Here's the pitch. That one is hit, and that lands in for a base hit. So that would advance runners. Mason goes over to second, and Grabowski will be held at third. So just like that, runners in scoring position for the Lions. Only one out. That'll bring in Ijara Jimenez, who struck out on her first appearance against Johnson.
At second base for Lions, number 1, Maggie Williams. Now batting catcher, Yovita Jimenez.
So Mason would be subbed out on second base as the pitch is up high for ball number 1. That one swing and a miss in for strike number 1 for Jimenez. Madison Williams on second, pinch running for Peyton Mason. So 1-1 to count with Jimenez on base. Looking to bring in Grabowski, and that one is fouled for strike number 2. Grabowski on third, Williams on second with 1 out. And for Johnson, looking to get Jimenez out on the ground out, and probably does not want a fly out as that will advance Grabowski to home. So 2-2 the count. That one is up high, gets away, a wild pitch. Grabowski does not run for home, and she'll stay at third. And I'll bring up a full count 3-2. Here's the pitch. That one is popped up, and that one goes foul. So that'll bring in Jimenez back up to hit once again. 2 ones to score for the Satellites, up by 1 run. Had a 2-run inning in the bottom of the third. But right now the Lions looking to tie the ball game up and in for a strikeout. What a throw and what a pitch. Just outside and got it for a strike. That's strikeout number 4 for Johnson. That'll bring up Mackenzie Shoemaker, who also struck out on her first appearance on the plate against Johnson. That went out to the right for ball number 1. Probably the best case scenario right there for Johnson, able to get the strikeout. Now a flyout will definitely end the inning and not bring the runners home. That one is popped up, grounded up to the shortstop. They throw to first and they make the play. So Johnson able to escape with runners, or do they? Yes, the umpire does say out at first base, so that will retire the inning. Had runners on second and third, but Johnson able to escape, and that still brings the game still 2-1 in favor of the Satellites as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Second baseman, Emily Castle.
Bottom of the 4th for the Satellites. They'll lead it off with Emily Cassell, along with Taylor Bachman and Vanessa DeWitt. First pitch from Mason goes down inside on the left for ball number 1. Emily Cassell, the second baseman, averaging a 1.54 batting average, along with 2 hits, 2 runs on the year, and 1 RBI. In her RBI, it was as a double, able to get the runner home, has a 2.67 OPP, as she takes in strike number 1. has an OPS of 498. That one is grounded out to the shortstop, and the shortstop wasn't able to corral it cleanly, but still able to get the play in to the first baseman for out number 1. The shortstop Shively able to make the play over to the first baseman, Ellie King. That'll bring in Taylor Bogman up to the plate. And the third baseman, 250 batting average on the year. 3 hits, 3 runs, no RBIs, and a double on the year. First pitch from Mason down inside to the left for ball number 1. The hit up to the shortstop, able to dive on it, and can he get it to first? Not in time. So Bachman able to get the base hit. And I'll bring in Vanessa DeWitt up to the plate. For DeWitt, 100 batting average on the year. 3 runs, 1 hit, 0 RBIs. And the junior able to get the hit. That gets away from the shortstop, and that'll advance runners. That would get Bachman up to second, and DeWitt gets a base hit. So that will bring in Horn to her third appearance onto the plate. 1 out on the inning for the Satellites. Has Bachman on second, DeWitt on first. Perfect from the plate is Horn. Has 2 hits, 2 of 2 on the night. That one is outside, and runners advance on the wild pitch. So Bachman takes up to third, DeWitt up to second with 1 out on the inning. So runners in scoring position, the Satellites looking to extend their lead. Had 2 runs in the bottom of the third, hoping to get more runs in the bottom of the fourth. Second pitch from Mason down low for ball number 2. For Val Horn, again, 4.12 batting average on the year. That pitch is sunk in for strike number 1. Three RBIs on the year for Horn, has also 5 runs run in. That ball is hit and gets away from the third baseman. So that will bring in an RBI for Horn. That will bring in Bachman to home, and that would advance DeWitt to third. So perfect from Horn is still 3 for 3 now, has 3 hits, also an RBI hit. That'll bring in Lexi Johnson up to the plate, where she grounded out on her first appearance and also had a hit in her second appearance on the plate. So runners in both corners of the diamond. We have DeWitt on third and Horn on first. Still 1 out. And just like that, a 3-1 lead for the Satellites. Johnson looking to bring in DeWitt. Second on the team in RBIs as racing for second base. So what a play right there from the pitcher. Able to get DeWitt out on third, I believe. Or do they? Confusion right there. The catcher threw it over to Mason, was looking to get Horn out to second. And Mason threw it over to the third baseman as DeWitt was looking to run home. The third baseman was able to tag DeWitt, but no call has been made on the field yet. The calling on the floor right now is a safe for DeWitt. And to many of the surprise of the Bremen fans, not a very pleasurable call to make. So umpires looking to discuss this play right here, and they call safe. So DeWitt able to escape with looking to steal home, was caught looking, but still a break right there for DeWitt, still able to stay on third. And for the Satellites, Horn has advanced to second. So just like that, runners again both in scoring position, with Johnson looking to bring him home.
All day, kid. Bring him in.
Here's the pitch from Mason. That one is hit, and that one gets to the third baseman, over to home, and that one is out. So Horn would advance to third. The hit for Johnson is good, but again for DeWitt, not able to come home. The pitch to the catcher just in time on home plate will bring out number 2. And that'll bring in Tennelly Warner, who has a double in this ballgame. So 2 outs in the inning for the Satellites. On third is Horn looking to get home. Pitch from Mason, that one is popped into the air to the shortstop. And can they make the play in time? They can, but that one is foul. So Horn will go back to third base, and Warner back onto home to hit once again. Wind may be playing a factor in that hit right there for Warner. A windy afternoon here in Union Mills, Indiana. And with that wind, the ball was maybe fair, but maybe the wind pushed the ball out foul, and the player's not able to make a play on that. Scored 3-1 in favor of the Satellites. And Warner at the plate looking to bring in Horn. That pitch is down in for strike number 1. Or excuse me, that would be strike number 2 off of the foul from before. So the count 1-2 now. Mason looking to escape this inning. Here's the pitch, and here's the hit. And that went up to the center fielder, and that one is caught for out number 3. So RBI hit for Horn brings the score up to 3-1 as we move on to the 5th. So we're at the top of the 5th now. A 3-1 lead for South Central. Still pitching on the mound is Lexi Johnson, as her first pitch is called in for a ball. Second pitch is in just inside to the left, calls for ball number 2. On the plate right now is Katie Moyer. And Moyer swing and a miss, out for strike number 1. For Moyer, had a strikeout in her first appearance against Johnson. The count 2-1 right now for Moyer. That one is popped up and fouled out, so that one be strike number 2. Again for Johnson, has allowed 3 hits in this ballgame, has allowed 1 home run to Shively on the top of the first, but after that has been phenomenal down the stretch. Pitch is down inside for ball number 3, so that'll bring a full count. Johnson has yet to allow another score after the first inning. Here's the pitch. That one is caught and a swing and a miss. 5th strikeout on the night for Johnson. And that's 2 strikeouts for Moyer on the afternoon.
Shortstop.
So it seems like the bottom of the batting order, Johnson has found her way with them, with Jimenez, Shoemaker, and Moyer, all with strikeouts against Johnson. And now bring up Shively up to the plate. First one is in for strike number 1. Again, what a game for Lexi Johnson so far. 5 strikeouts, 3 hits, and only 1 earned run. But now facing against Shively, who had the only run against her with that home run. And her second appearance was a flyout. Shively looking to change bats, I believe. Again, we're back from the technical difficulties once again. As the pitch is up high and the call is a ball. Wow. Johnson tried to curve it inside up on the top of the frame, but just wasn't able to get that call. That one is popped up, and that one is going to the right side, and I believe that's fouled for Shively. I believe that brings the count up to 2-2. Johnson looking to get her 6th strikeout right now. Here's the pitch. That one is popped up, and that one is going to the shortstop, and able to make the play. Yes, she does. So back-to-back outs right there for the Satellites. Val Horn there to make the play. They'll bring in Ileana Grubbs, who has a ground out and a hit in this ball game. For Grubbs, a 500 batting average on the year again. Just 5 hits, 5 runs, and 3 RBIs. No one on base so far for Bremen. And the pitch from Johnson is curved inside to the left for ball number 1. The freshman left fielder looking to make a play in this ball game. Second pitch from Johnson is to the right side, and now it's called for ball number 2. 3-1 to score. Satellites up by 2 runs. Had 1 run last inning, and that ball is curved inside for ball strike number 1. Curveball right there for Johnson brings the count to 2-1. And here's the pitch. That one is grounded up to the pitcher, and just like that, a 1-2-3 inning for Johnson. Moves up to the bottom of the 5th. A 3-1 lead for the Satellites.
Line to the 5th. No runs, no hits, no satellite errors, nobody left on.
As we're due to checking in the bottom of the 5th inning, a 3-1 lead for the Satellites. As Peyton Mason still up on the plate. Her first pitch in the bottom of the 5th is in for ball number 1. Second one is up high and called for ball number 2. As on the plate right now is Kendo Rosebaum with Avery Comboy on deck. Third pitch is up high still once again, so that's a 3-0 count for Rosebaum. Both pitchers yet to have walked a player, as that pitch right there inside, and that's the first base on balls for either pitcher. Mason picks up that one with the walk. So Rosebaum picks up the base on balls. It will advance to first, and now bring on Comboy. For Comboy, a ground out in this ball game. First pitch is swing and a miss for Comboy. That's it for strike number 1. Second pitch is hit, goes up to the center fielder, and able to make the play. Yes, she does. Swing it back to first, and just in time, safe for Rosebaum. So a fly out for Comboy will bring Pereira up to the plate.
Right fielder Brooke Pereira.
For Pereira, has an out and a strikeout as well. Wild pitch advances Rosebaum to second. Again, for Pereira, 4.44 batting average is the right fielder. And the sophomore, 4 hits on the year, 1 run, 1 RBI. Looking to bring Rosebaum up to third, and here's the pitch outside for ball number 2. For the Satellites, they've scored a run since the 3rd and the 4th inning, looking to keep the streak alive in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch is outside for ball number 3, brings the count up 3-0. So for Mason, already walked 1 runner with Rosebaum. Right now on the verge of walking another one with Pereira. 3-0 the count. That one is in for strike number 1. Right down the middle, brings the count to 3-1. Pereira was looking to bunt on that play. Here's the pitch 3-1. That one is grounded in and gets it to the third baseman over to first base. And do they get it in time? They do. But Rosebaum will advance to second. And the umpires ruled that Pereira was safe. So the play was not in time. That would bring both runners on each corner. So a base hit for Pereira, her first hit of the ball game, brings in Emily Cassell up on the plate. Rosebaum on third, Pereira on first. Only 1 out. And for Cassell, looking to bring him home. Has 1 RBI on the year, looking to make it 2 with a hit to bring Rosebaum home. First pitch up and down the middle, lands in for a base hit, and that will bring in Rosebaum home. RBI hit for Cassell, raises the score 4-1.
Third baseman Taylor Bachman.
Now bring in the third baseman Taylor Bachman with a 2.50 batting average as a hit in this ball game. 3 hits, 3 runs, 0 RBIs for Bachman, but has a prime opportunity to do so with Pereira on first, Pereira on second, Cassell on first. Pereira will check out into the ball game, and number 9 Laney Jenkins will sub in to pinch run for the Satellites. Again, on the plate is Taylor Bachman, who has a hit in this ball game. Runners on second and first, looking to bring him home. First pitch from Mason goes down low for ball number 1. Mason had a strong start in this ball game, had 2 shutout innings in the first 2 before letting up 4 runs in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Second one is down low for ball number 2. Again, a 4-1 lead for the South Central Satellites. The pitch is down low in and a wild pitch that will advance runners. So Pereira to second, Pereira on third, Cassell onto second. And just like that, Bachman looking to bring him home. Prime opportunity to extend their lead now. 3-0 the count. Here's the pitch. That one is inside. And that brings it to 3-0 as the count. So 3-1 is the count. Excuse me, not 3-0. It's 3-1. And the pitch gets away, and that one lands in fair. That would bring in the runner home. That is Pereira. And Cassell racing for a home, and she does as well. So a RBI double for Bachman as she gets into second base. And just like that, the lead has ballooned 6-1 for the Satellites. So that'll bring in Vanessa DeWitt up to the plate. 1 out still for the Satellites. But an RBI double for Bachman brings in Pereira and Cassell. The pitch is in a little too high outside on the frame. Called in for ball number 1 on Mason. That one is grounded up to the third baseman, up to first, and they make the play. Or do they? The first baseman, Ellie King, fumbled the ball, but was able to recover it in time for out number 2. Bachman advances to third, and that will bring in Van Horn, who's been perfect in this ballgame. 3 of 3 at the plate, and she'll take in base ball number 1.
Have a little fun, man. Hey, reach down there and smile at Tony.
Had an RBI hit earlier in the 4th inning. Has also scored in a run with 3 hits as well. Here's the pitch. And he got it away. Was able to get through the line of defense right down the middle. And again, perfect 4 of 4. Brings in Bachman to home. And just like that, the lead is 7-1 in favor of the Satellites.
Pitcher Lexi Johnson.
And that brings in Lexi Johnson up to the plate. For Bachman, able to score in another run. And for 2 outs, 7-1 lead for the Satellites. Pitch is up and lands fair. And what a play right there. And running to third is Horn and gets it in time. So Johnson's hit was popped up into the air and had a little backspin on it, was able to land in, and that one was fair, able to get to first base. So that's a base hit for Johnson, and for Horn, she advances all the way to third. So again, runners in scoring position once again for South Central, bringing up Tennelly Werner up to the mound. Had a fly out and a double in her appearance. Again, 2 outs, looking to bring in Horn. The pitch from Mason, that one is landed to the third baseman, but foul. Again, for Warner, has a team-leading 10 RBIs, along with 7 hits and 4 runs. So if there's a perfect person to do it, it'll be Tennelly Warner. So 0-1 to count for Warner. Here's the throw from Mason, down 1. Lands in down low for ball number 1. Peyton Mason really struggling in this bottom of the 5th. Has allowed 3 runs so far and a couple of hits. The pitch from Mason, that one is popped up and fouled. Brings the count up 1-2 for Tennelly Warner. And out right here would really stop the bleeding for the Bremen Lions. As Horn looking to score at third base. The pitch and hit, and that lands in for another base hit. And that's Warner able to bring in Horn. And the lead up now 8-1. 4 runs scored in the bottom of the 5th for the Satellites. Warner gets her first RBI of the game.
Catcher Kendall
And now
Rosenbaum.
bring in the catcher Kendall Rosebaum. First pitch down inside to the left for ball number 1. Four runs allowed in the bottom of the 5th for the Lions. Second pitch is up high for ball number 2. So for Rosebaum has walked, has 2 hits, including a double RBI. Looking to make it 3 on the game as she takes in strike number 1. Had an RBI double earlier in this ball game. As this one, the pitch is down low inside for ball number 3, brings the count 3-1. For Mason, must be incredibly frustrating, allowing 4 runs. And just the hit before already had 2 outs and allowed another one. And just like that, the ball outside for ball number 4 has walked Rosenbaum now twice in this ball game. And the bases are loaded now with runners on each base with Johnson, Warner, and Rosebaum. And it may be time for a pitching change for the Bremen Lions. As up on the plate is Avery Comboy, who has yet to get a hit in this ball game, has a ground out and a fly out. But with how this game is going, anything is going the way of the Satellites right now. So Mason will still stay on the plate.
Center fielder Avery Conboy.
And Avery Comboy up on the plate right now. So runners in all positions. That's the first pitch outside for ball number 1. Bases loaded right now for the Satellites. Have a 7-1 lead. An 8-1 lead with 4 runs scored right now in the bottom of the 5th. Comboy looking to add to that party. Swing and a miss right there for Comboy with strikeout number 1. One to count for Comboy. Has a .333 batting average on the year. Third pitch from Mason is outside for ball number 2. Again, Comboy has yet to get a hit, but looking to join the party with right now bases loaded. That pitch is up high for a 3-1 count. So Mason has already walked Rosebomb, and a walk right here would advance another runner, and that will bring in another run if it's another ball. The pitch is 3-1. Hit from Convoy, popped up, and the center fielder able to make the play, and that will end the inning. 4 runs scored in the bottom of the 5th for the Satellites as we go to the top of the 6th. So top of the 6th, an 8-1 lead for the Satellites. A 4-run bottom of the 5th is where we're at right now. Gives them a 7-run lead. Still in the game is Lexi Johnson, taking on Delaney Neher, who has 2 groundouts on the afternoon. Takes in strike number 1. For Mason, 8 earned runs allowed on the evening, and second swing and a miss again. So back-to-back swing and a miss, and back-to-back strikes for Johnson, looking to get strikeout number 6 in this ballgame. 2 groundouts for Neher. That one is tipped and foul, so that will bring back Neher to the plate once again. One, 2 the pitch for Johnson. And that one is down inside for ball number 2.
Good stop one. Keep it up, Lex. Keep it up. Go down, kid. Finish it up.
2-2 the count, and that one is swing and a miss once again, but tipped and foul. So that will bring back Neher back to the plate. Again, 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and that one's fouled once again. The sophomore third baseman, again with a 500 batting average. 7 hits, 4 runs, a team leading 8 RBIs with 2 home runs included on the year. That one is down inside for ball number 3. So a full count for Johnson.
Good work.
Again, Johnson has been shut out ever since the first inning for the Satellites. Looking to continue the streak right here as Neher pauses on the bat. Again, only allowed one earned run, and that was a home run to the shortstop Michaela Shively on the top of the first. The pitch is down inside and walks Neher. So the first walk for Johnson. That will bring in Chrissy Grabowski up to the plate.
Second baseman Chrissy Grabowski.
For Grabowski, a double in the game along with another hit. So perfect from the hitting side is Chrissy Grabowski. The sophomore second baseman has a 2.31 batting average, 3 hits, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs on the year. Again, perfect in this game, 2 of 2 from the hitting side.
On the first base for line for 2 there, penalty time.
That ball is hit foul for Grabowski. Satellites again come into this game 3-2 on the year. Bremen coming in with a 2-4 record. Second pitch up high for ball number 2. For the Satellites, it's been a back and forth season. Has won games and lose another one. And their last game yesterday, a 12-2 loss to Morgan Township. Pitch is up high for ball number 3. 3-out count for Grabowski. For Bremen, they had a 2-game losing streak before winning their last game. So looking to get a 2-game win streak going. And for the Satellites, looking to break their loss. That ball is hit foul for Grabowski, brings it to a 3-1 count. That one is hit, and that one goes back to the wall and makes the play right there is the right fielder. Brett Pereira there to make the play. Gets out number 2 for the Satellites.
By fielder Avery Willow.
I'll bring in Avery Wilder, who has a ground out and a double in this ball game. Or excuse me, 2 ground outs. First pitch down inside for ball number 1. And on the first base right now is Delaney Neher, who's been walked by Johnson. That one is hit foul. Take it for strike number 1. One ball, one strike. Here's the pitch. That one goes down inside. A wild pitch. Racing to second is Neher. So Neher now in scoring position for the Bremen Lions. The count 2-1 now for Wilder. That one is popped up and making the play to center fielder, racing down, and that one lands in for a base hit. Racing to third is Neher, and she will try to race home. Here's the play. The catch, not in time. And Neher scores in a run. RBI hit for Wilder. Brings the score to 8-2 now. The center fielder Avery Comboy not able to make the play. Wasn't able to slice up the distance on that ball. That ball was flown up into the air, but kind of just dropped down onto the field. And for Comboy, no one wasn't there to make the play, and that results in a run scored for Neher. And that will bring in an RBI for Wilder. And that's going to be her third RBI of the season.
Pitcher Peyton Mason.
So that'll bring up the pitcher Peyton Mason. The junior pitcher again landed her first hit of the game, or first hit of the season, excuse me, with a double today. Also had a ground out in her appearance against Johnson. First pitch in for a ball. And the second pitch in for a strike for for Mason. Brings the count to 1-1. That pitch is up high, but inside the frame. So that'll bring the count to 1-2. Two outs. And a runner on second for the Lions. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and the ball is hit to the shortstop. Shortstop ever make the play, and do they get it in time? They do. So the ball kind of just gutted onto the dirt. And for South Central, the shortstop Val Horn wasn't able to scoop up the ball in time to get it to the first baseman Tenley Warner. So that brings in another hit. And now you have runners on both diamonds, or both corners of the diamond. So you have Wilder at third, and now you have Mason on first. So that's going to bring in Jimenez, who has struck out twice against Johnson in this game. Looking to bring in a run. That ball is hit to the shortstop, or to the third baseman, and just wasn't able to get it cleanly. Brings in another run. So Wilder gets in to home, brings in the score 8-3.
Good effort.
For Lexi Johnson now, 3 straight hits allowed. Brings in 2 scores, on the top of the 6th. Was lights out in the first couple of innings. Allowed 1 home run in the opening hit to Shively, but after that, it's just been phenomenal. Able to allow no runs, got a couple of strikeouts in there. But at the top of the 6th, seems like fatigue and the fumes are starting to slow down for Lexi Johnson. Now allow a couple of hits and 2 earned runs so far in the top of the 6th. Again, the pressure was all on the Lions side. They had 2 outs, and all they needed was 1 more out from Johnson, but right now, not able to get the job done to retire this inning. So that's going to bring in Shoemaker, who has a strikeout and a ground out in this ballgame. First pitch from Johnson is up for a ball. Subbed into the game is Brooklyn Brown instead of Shoemaker. And the second pitch from Johnson is down inside to the left side for ball number 2. Here's the pitch, and it's up just inside. Gets it for strike number 1. That one in for strike number 2 once again. So back-to-back strikes for Johnson. Brings the count at 2-2. 2-2 the count. Here's the ball, and struck him out. What a pitch right there from Johnson. Retires the inning. But 2 runs scored for the Bremen Lions has brought the score to 8-3 as we go to the bottom of the sixth.
Tackle 6 for Lions, 2 runs, 2 hits. First out right there, 1 man left on base. For the bottom of 6th, 8-3 Satellites.
So for the Bremen Lions, a substitution change. They go to their bullpen and will bring in Eliana Grubbs to close this game out. And for Grubbs, 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. She'll lead it off with Brooke Pereira, who has an out, a strikeout, and also a hit, and scored in a run as well. First pitch from Grubbs, down just below, in for a ball. Second pitch is down low once again for a ball. So back-to-back balls for Ileana Grubbs. Again, for Pereira has a hit in this ball game as well as a scored run. And that one hits Pereira on the foot. That would advance her to first. So first walk of the afternoon for Pereira. That will bring in Emily Cassell. Cassell has a ground out, an RBI hit, as well as a scored run in this ball game. First pitch is down low to the left in for ball number 1. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch, and that one a swing and a miss for Cassell. Gets it for strike number 1. The wind's starting to pick back up here at Union Mills, Indiana. As the clouds starting to clear, becoming more sunny now, as that pitch is hit and foul for Cassell. Brings the count 1-2. Again, the second baseman, the senior, 154 batting average, 2 hits, 2 runs, and an RBI on the season. Here's the pitch, and that one is called a ball. The pitcher throws to second base, and that's out for and that one is out. That is Pereira looking to steal second, and just like that, what a throw from the catcher all the way to the second baseman, and that's called for out number 1. What a throw right there from Jimenez, able to get it to Grabowski. And here's the pitch down low. That's called for ball number 3. So that'll bring the count up full 3-2. Full count, and the hit is up and foul. So that'll bring back Cassell back to the plate. And the pitch is hit once again, but again fouled. So that'll bring back Cassell once again. Full count once again for Cassell. Taking on Ileana Grubbs, who has checked in. And that one called in for a ball and a walk. So a back-to-back walks now for Grubbs. Has walked Pereira and now has walked Cassell. And now Bachman is up on the plate.
About third baseman Taylor Bachman.
First pitch is up high in ball for Bachman. For Bachman today, has a hit, also has 2 hits on the game, along with an RBI double. That one able to sneak in. What a pitch right there from Grubbs. Get it to the outside corner for strike number 1. Here's a pitch from Grubbs, able to sneak it inside for ball number 2. Count up now 2-1 in favor of the Satellites. Grubbs again has walked back-to-back players. Not looking to get it as a third time, but this one up high for ball number 3 brings the count up 3-1. The count for Bachman. And here's the pitch from Grubbs. That one swing and a miss. Gets it up to a full count. Looking to get her first strikeout is Emilia Grubbs. And right now facing a full count against Taylor Bachman, who has 2 hits on the game. That one is sneaked inside for ball number 4. So 3 straight walks for Grubbs. And if you're Brooke Pereira, the play to steal second, which resulted in an out, looking more and more costly, as right now would have been able to get the bases loaded with no outs. But instead, only 2 runners up on the bases with 1 out. That'll bring in Vanessa Dewitt. Excuse me. That'll bring in Taylor Cleek up on her first base appearance. So Bachman on first, Cassell on second, and Cleek making her first plate appearance in this ball game. 1 out for the Satellites, an 8-3 score. Accumulated 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch from Grubbs inside and right down the middle for strike number 1. Here's the pitch from Grubbs. That one is inside for a strike. Oh, interesting call right there from the umpire. That one seemed to get away on the left side, but umpire saw it was still in the pitching frame. And just like that, an 0-2 count for Cleek. A pitch and a swinging and a foul for Cleek will reset the count 0-2 still. For Taylor, Cleek has yet to get a hit in this season, but in her 7 base appearances has accumulated an RBI and a run as well. Has a 300 OBP and a 300 OPS as well. That ball is hit, and that one is popped up and caught for out number 2. So that'll bring in the shortstop Val Horn up to the plate, where again has been perfect in this ball game. 4 of 4 on base appearances, has 2 RBIs, and has scored in a run as well. In contention to win player of the game as well as Lexi Johnson. So here's Horn now on the plate. That ball is down right down the middle for strike number 1. Again, 3 RBIs on the year for Horn, 7 hits with 5 runs, OBP of 500, and an OPS of 971, a batting average of 412. That one is hit to the third baseman, and just like that, out number 3 for the Lions. That'll take us to the bottom. That'll take us to the last inning, to the top of the 7th. No runs scored for the Satellites. And for the Bremen Lions, this is their last chance to be able to tie or take the lead in this ballgame. So in the top of the 7th, the last inning for the Bremen Lions. And for South Central, 3 outs, and that will conclude the game. And And Johnson still in this game and takes it in for strike number 1. Leading off for Bremen, as Johnson, second pitch is down low to the left for ball number 1. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. So 1 to the count. That one is down low left for a 2-2 count. Again, an 8-3 lead for the Satellites over the Bremen Lions. Johnson's pitch is hit foul. That'll bring up the count still 2-2. To the count. Here's the pitch from Johnson. Down with a swing and a miss. 7 Ks for Lexi Johnson in this ballgame.
Shortstop, Whitney Shively.
So now I'll bring in the shortstop, Michaela Shively, who had a home run against Johnson earlier in the top of the first. Had a pop-up, a home run, and a flyout for Shively. And that ball is hit toward the wall, and that one is gone. Second home run on the afternoon for Shively. That brings the score up 8-4. So 2 home runs for Shively. Had 1 home run going into this game, and now just like that has 3 home runs on the year, and overtaking Neher as team's leading home run leader. So that's 2 RBIs on 2 home runs for Shively, brings her up to 7 RBIs on the year. And the pitch from Johnson is up high for Grubbs. Score now 8-4 as the hit and Grubbs. That one is foul and out. So what a play from the first baseman for South Central. That is Tenley Warner able to get that ball on the foul line. And for Bremen, this goes down to the last out. An 8-4 lead for the Satellites. And their hands are in the fate of the Lady Neher. And has the right person to do it. Johnson's pitch up high for ball number 1. For Neher, again, 8 RBIs on the year, 7 hits, has a 500 batting average. But today has really struggled. Has a walk, a run, but has 2 ground outs as well. That one a swing and a miss. So 1-1 the count for Neher against Johnson. That one is popped up and that one's hit back at the wall. That one lands in fair. So a base hit right there for Neher. I'll bring up Grabowski up on the plate. The left fielder for South Central, Taylor Cleek, not able to make the play in time. That one dropped right in front of her. And again for Grabowski up on the plate. That one inside for ball number 1. Has a double, a hit, and a flyout for Grabowski in this ball game. That one in for strike number 1. The sophomore second baseman has a 2.31 batting average. Again, 2 RBIs, 3 hits, 2 runs scored on the season. That ball is hit foul. I'll bring in 2 strikes. So for the Lions, down to the last strike right now. Facing a 4-run deficit on the top of the 7th. 2-2 the count. Here's Johnson. Here's the pitch. And swing and a miss.
One run,
And that will end the
2
game.
hits.
8
Side
strikeouts
out
on the
over
night
from
for
one
Lexi
left on
Johnson.
base.
And that gives the win to the South Central Satellites.
17th.
An 8-4 win for South Central, led by Lexi Johnson. 8 strikeouts, a couple of hits, has 3 earned runs, but what a game for Lexi Johnson. And on the offensive side, 3 hits, a ground out, and a scored run as well for Lexi Johnson.